Hey guys, welcome back to Barry Melt's channel. Today we're going to talk about how people treat you differently after weight loss surgery. All right, so I think this is a really fascinating topic because I think there's a number of ways we can look at this. And I want to explore those with you guys today and just kind of talk through my own experiences, some different experiences that I've heard about. And I'd love to hear from you guys. So feel free to share this video, comment down below. Let's start this conversation about this topic. I think there's a number of ways that we can look at this because it's not just even about like, you know, your friends and your family, coworkers, people like that. It's also strangers. And I think it's just so weird how society is with overweight individuals. And so I want to just kind of explain my kind of history with this. And again, I'd love to hear from you guys as well. So there are even like shows out there that do like experiments, seeing how people treat others different based on what they look like. And it's just so interesting to me that somebody can be wearing a suit to kind of like make themselves look bigger. And then once they take that off, they are completely treated like another, you know, person. And it's just so fascinating to me that people have such a different way of treating somebody based on what they look like. You know, I've seen, what is that show? What Would You Do? I believe that's what it's called. I believe they have a couple kind of scenarios where they put people in, but it's like, you know, you can walk into a store, you know, wearing one of those, you know, outfits to make yourself look bigger and be totally ignored by, you know, customer service. But then that same person takes that off and makes themselves look thinner and they're treated completely differently and they have this great customer service. And I just think it's so sad, to be honest, that our society looks at overweight individuals that way. You know, I don't think I realized how much I was ignored at my heaviest, being almost 400 pounds at one point. I think I just got so used to being treated that way that once I did lose 160 pounds, it was like, oh my gosh, I'm treated so differently. Like I'm respected more. I get more attention. I get more customer service. It just amazed me to see the level of just respect that I got from strangers. And I think, like I said, I think this is kind of sad. And, you know, to some degree, you'll probably feel really good when you start getting that attention more. You start getting that respect more once you start losing weight after weight loss surgery. But there was a part of me, I remember, like, I was sad about it because I was like, why is this okay? Like, why is this okay for me to be treated this way now that I look this way? But when I looked this way, I wasn't respected. And it's just, I just think it's a little messed up. Unfortunately, I don't know like what we do about it because I think it's just something society has ingrained, you know, in our heads. And one thing I've always tried to do is that, you know, set good examples, and hopefully other people will start picking up on that. Because we've all been there, we've all been disrespected, we've all been ignored, we've all been in that place before. So never, ever, ever let it get to where you're turning into one of those people where you're ignoring someone or you're disrespecting somebody because of the way they look. And sometimes I think we can get in that mindset, like we feel confident, we start feeling great about ourselves, like you almost have to catch yourself not to say, don't become one of those people. Like always remember where you came from and always treat every single person with respect. So honestly, I think that's the only thing we can do about strangers, because it's like, you know, until our society starts looking at things differently, I think we're just kind of in this place where people just have more respect for people that aren't overweight. And the good thing is I think we're in this place now where body positivity has become such a huge movement. I mean, I see videos all the time. People are truly embracing who they are and the size that they're at. And I think we just need more of that, because the more we can encourage that, where we are happy with ourselves, then the more we're gonna like radiate and shine. And to be honest, not really care how others are treating us. But I think naturally it's just gonna cause everyone to just have more respect for everyone. So again, you know, I think this is just kind of a sad thing to experience. So if you have lost a significant amount of weight after weight loss surgery, you might notice this difference, that just strangers will treat you differently, and it might make you a little sad. And I think, you know, that's okay, just to, you know, kind of accept that and kind of be able to process that and be able to, you know, carry on. But, you know, at the same time, by strangers, one thing I also picked up on is that, you know, I was getting more attention. And I believe I've shared this before on this channel, but there was an instance that sticks in my head, and I share this story any chance I can when I talk about this topic, because it showed me where my mindset was at. And that is that the first time I got hit on by a stranger, it literally felt like he was making fun of me. It felt so like abnormal, and it just felt like something's got to be going on here. This has got to be a joke. Like, it was so strange to me. And I think that's something you have to kind of learn on this journey, is that, again, you're going to be treated differently by people, and it might be strange to you when you start getting hit on for the first time, because you might be used to kind of blending in, or, you know, maybe the opposite, you might be used to kind of always standing out. I mean, it's really just dependent on kind of internally how you process things. But don't be surprised if you just notice the difference from strangers, because it's just the way our society is right now. I think another thing to look at on this topic is with your friends and family and how they might treat you differently, because you have to remember that they're used to you being a certain way for so long. And so when you make these changes, don't be surprised if your relationships change a little bit. Your friends might become frustrated with you if you don't want to go out to eat a lot with them, if you don't want to, you know, experience things the same way you used to before surgery. Things might be a little different. You also might just feel like, you know, if you have been used to being almost 400 pounds and you drop nearly 200 pounds, you know, they're not saying that they'll be like intimidated by you, but, you know, things will be different, because I feel like people do look at you differently. And I think that's just part of the process of accepting the new version of you. And sometimes it can take people just a little bit of time to catch up with some of those changes. It's really hard sometimes when you feel like you have to live up to this person you have been your whole life that they have seen. And then after surgery, you're not that person anymore. You have these new priorities in your life. And so they might treat you a little differently, and it might kind of, you know, not necessarily hurt your relationship, but it might put a little strain on it, and you might really have to fight for it. Because again, when someone's used to you being a certain way for so long and that drastically changes, it's natural for there to be kind of a little bit of, I guess, tension in a way, but, you know, just trying to understand each other a little bit better. One thing I also noticed is that I feel like coworkers treated me differently. I always, I guess, go back to the whole respect thing, but it's almost like it felt like I was getting more respect after I lost more weight. And this could all be in my head. I mean, it could have naturally been just, you know, maybe an insecurity of mine that I spent so long being overweight. But I truly did feel I was treated differently. And a lot of that, I think, is because of how I presented myself. I was a lot more confident after I lost weight. So therefore, people did treat me differently because I carried myself differently. So again, I think this is something that's just going to naturally happen as you lose a significant amount of weight. Just remember that this is a journey, and it can be tough sometimes when there are so many changes like this, because of the fact your relationships will be affected, even how you interact with strangers will be affected. Things are going to be different because you're going to be a different person after surgery. And I don't say all this to scare you, but more to just be aware that you might notice these changes. You might notice that people are treating you differently. And I want to hear from you guys. Do you think of the word respect? Is that what comes to your mind, or am I just crazy? Is that just my insecurity of how I've spent the majority of my life? But I want to hear from you, because I feel like it truly felt different. And, you know, I think, again, a lot of that was coming from society and just strangers in general, but even from family, friends, and coworkers, it just felt like it felt different. It felt like there was a whole nother level there. And, you know, it could just be based on situations that I was in, but I want to hear from you guys if you have had something similar happen to you. At the end of the day, what I want to say and kind of end on this topic is that, again, society has a way of kind of training our minds of how to treat people based on their size and what they look like. And I challenge you to fight against that, because we have all experienced it. You know, we've experienced that kind of just hurtfulness that you can experience from people and just kind of the judgments you get. And so I really encourage you to just set an example. And maybe if enough of us are making these changes, we can really change the way that this happens in the world and make it to where people feel like they're not being ignored by a customer service person, or, you know, that their relationships aren't changing with their coworkers because they've lost weight. You know, I think it's just this whole movement of body positivity and all this great things going on in this community right now is exactly what we need in this world. So spread the love, give each other respect no matter what somebody looks like. Just be a good person. When it comes down to it, just be a good person to everybody you come in contact with. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for today's topic. I hope you enjoyed this discussion today. I would love to hear from you guys again, so please feel free to leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts on this. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.